Hi everybody, my name is Ruth Ann Lane and you are tuning in to a Facebook Live on the Elementary Project-Based Learning Group. We are talking today about 3 tips for returning to a project after a long break. You'll have to excuse my state. We've been making food for a friend and I've got peanut butter all over my hands and my hair's a hot mess. But I'm really excited to talk to you today about these 3 tips for returning to a PBL after you've been gone, maybe for winter break or for Thanksgiving break. If tomorrow is your first day back and maybe you're one of those lucky schools that gets to take a whole week off for Thanksgiving, sometimes returning to project-based learning from a long break can be kind of difficult. Just a reminder, if you comment at any time during this live broadcast, I will personally message you a link to a free resource from my store. And you can have it as a special Thanksgiving gift to you today. I am going to, at any point, whether it's rebroadcast or during this live broadcast, send you that link if you comment because it's a special Thanksgiving Day treat. Usually it's only for the live broadcast, but for today and for this video, I will send you that link for any point, whether you're watching it next week or now. But let's go ahead and we're going to dive into 3 tips for you for getting back into your project-based learning once you return from break. So my first tip is to make sure that you're a professional, you always go back to your procedures when you're gone for a long break, making sure that the kiddos remember how to line up for the restroom, they remember that they're not shouting out, because for some reason when they're gone for more than 2 days they seem to think that that's okay, or different things like that. But as you're going through those procedures, just make sure that you're revisiting those PBL specific procedures. Make sure that you're talking about how to collaborate, our procedures for voting, different things like that. Sometimes that week can really do a number on your classroom environment and your classroom culture. So just making sure that you kind of hit those again and talking about some of the procedures that you have with that. Then my second one. So my second one I think is really helpful for returning to a project. I call it kind of like a re-entry event. I really think it's important when you know that you're planning that calendar for your PBL to plan a re-entry event if your calendar happens to fall during a long break. Now, what is a re-entry event? So it's something that's going to spark that interest again for your students. Whether it's having a, hey Leah, thanks for the comment, I'll send you that link after our live broadcast. Whether it is having a community partner come in after that long break, or it's reading a book that reinvigorates that interest, or maybe watching a YouTube video, or just anything that's going to really get them excited about the PBL that you were doing before break started. It's really important to do kind of a re-entry event when you come back, because it really reinvigorates your students' excitement for what it is that you've been doing with your PBL. And sometimes that excitement can wane during even just a 3-day week. The other thing to go along with that, kind of a sub part to that, is I'm going to tell you that sometimes when you come back from break, even if you've done a re-entry event, even if you've done the next tip that I'm going to give you, sometimes your students' interest is just lost. And you can try to hit it again and again if you feel like that's what you need to do. But honestly, if I were you, I would just kind of wait and see after you've talked with them, if maybe it's something that you could still do other standards with a different PBL. Because honestly, if your student's interest isn't there, you probably should not still be doing that PBL. If you're familiar with the Daily 5, they talk about this concept of abandoning books, and I'm a really big advocate for teaching your students how to properly abandon a project. Maybe that could be another video that I do in the future, but I really think that it's an important thing as a teacher, a PBL teacher, to accept that you may have to abandon a project when you come back from a long break. Try your best to do a re-entry event, do a couple if you can to get them excited again, but also just know that if your project is planned over a long break and your student's interest is still just not there, that you may have to abandon it. Leah, I'm so glad you thought that that resource was helpful. I'm really glad. I would love to see pics. I'm sure that a lot of other people would too. Be happy to see pictures of it in use. Thank you so much for commenting. That really means so much to me. I'm glad it was helpful. Okay, my third and final one, and this is just 3, so I'm just gonna make it really quick for you because it's Thanksgiving weekend, and like I said, I've got peanut butter all over my hands, and we're in the middle of cooking some food for a good friend of mine who's about to have a baby. My third thing is really helpful, and I found it extremely helpful. I recommend that you try to contact your students over a break if you can. Now, I do not recommend sending homework home with them over a break to keep them into the PBL. If anything, I think that will kill your students' interest. There are some kids that would love that. I know some of my gifted students would love something like that, but there are students that it would just turn them off to have to work on it over break. And rather than risk that, I recommend doing something like maybe sending them a video that you find that you've planned over break. Something that you have already planned that you know you're going to send them. If you use Class Dojo, or you have Facebook, or even if you use Remind and you can text, just contacting your students over break and sending them resources to kind of look at and get familiar with while they are on that break, so that they're still seeing, oh, now Mrs. Lane sent me this really cool video, or even encouraging them to find videos or take videos or pictures while they're on break of things related to their project. Hey guys, I would love to hear from you. Here's a email address or phone number, or post it on class story. We would love to see it. If you do that when you come back, I'll give you a special surprise. Maybe that special surprise is just a piece of candy. Just something to keep their PBL in the back of their mind while they're gone. Because the thing that happens is they lose interest, not because they're not interested in the project, but because they haven't thought about it in a week or a couple weeks. So just keeping them thinking about that PBL. As always, guys, I'm so glad to talk to you today. Remember, if you're watching that rebroadcast, you can comment and I will send you that link. Leah, you have a resource coming your way, and it is different than the last time you tuned in. I am so happy to have talked with you guys. Thank you again for tuning in, and I will see you next week. I will post a poll on Monday. Please vote. I would love to have your opinions, and as always, that poll is going to be something that you can add. On the 5th, we have a special spotlight. I'm so excited. We have 2 kindergarten teachers that are PBL facilitators. One of them is PBL certified and has taught for a decade in a PBL kindergarten classroom. The other is brand new to kindergarten PBL and has a lot of advice for what it's like to start PBL. We're going to be doing it Facebook Live right here in this group. Love to have you here and join us. If you have any questions, I've posted a comment. I'll be posting a reminder flyer tomorrow too. You can comment on any of those with any questions that you would like for us to ask them. But I am so excited to have Charity and Caitlin on here with you on the 5th at 3:15. We will also be doing a Sunday Live, but I'm really excited for that. All right, guys, as always, it's great to talk to you. Thanks. Have a great day.